Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is the live game review of our fantastic 2-0 victory against West Ham United at Goodison Park last Saturday. Finally a positive match review, finally a weekend for us Evertonians that we could actually enjoy and actually be happy about. We're here to talk about the game, obviously in all its glory, in a positive light for once, because you know what, we were absolutely fantastic on Saturday. We really were. Not just the 3 points, not just the goals, not just the win, but the entire performance. From start to finish, you cannot fault any part of it. Every single player that put an Everton shirt on Saturday afternoon put in a shift and showed how well he can actually play when they actually want to play, and how well he can play when Marco Silva gets the tactics right and when Marco Silva gets the team right. Because you know what, we've all been quick to jump on Marco Silva in recent weeks when he's got it wrong, and I've been one of those fans as well to jump on him and say that was awfully wrong, what are you doing? So I think it's important that we give him credit when credit's due. Don't get me wrong, it's not, the problems aren't all fixed and it's not all sorted, and we can't just now go, right, everything's fine, we move on. But he did get it right on Saturday, and it's important that we take note of that, and we appreciate that, because we were absolutely brilliant. Like I said, every single player that put an Everton shirt on turned up, they showed intent, they showed intensity, they showed fight, they showed passion, and we absolutely blew West Ham out the park. I mean, 2-0 massively flatters West Ham on Saturday. It massively flatters West Ham because it could have been 4, it could have been 5, it could have been 6. We had one goal that was, disallowed, Yerry Mina's goal, which we'll talk about a little bit later on, which is disallowed for absolutely nothing. We had 3 other goals disallowed for various other things. We had Tom Davies have an opportunity cleared off the line. We had Alex Iwobi miss a one-on-one. We had Theo Walcott at the bar. It was just constant attack after attack after attack, constant opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. And that's exactly what you want to see from an Everton side. You want to see Everton sides approaching games to attack and to consistently put pressure on the opposition. And that's what we done last Saturday. But you know what? We need to now go and do that next week against Brighton as well. And we need to continue this on, because if we'd have played on Saturday, if we played like we did on Saturday, in previous games against sides like, Burnley, Sheffield United, Bournemouth, would have won those games of football in the exact same manner as we won on Saturday, quite convincingly and quite easily, but we didn't. We didn't turn up in the same way. So obviously we're going to talk about Saturday's game. We're not going to go too much into the Brighton game next week, because we've got the game preview and all that to do for that game. But like I said, an absolutely fantastic all-round performance from every single player in an Everton shirt on Saturday, and it's important that we sit down and we talk about it. H-Lad says, yes, Cam lad, yes, I hope you are doing well. Jack says, alright mate, alright Jack, hope you're doing well mate. And Chris says, hi mate, hope you're well and well done, you win. Thank you very much, Chris. I'm not doing too bad myself, mate. I hope you're doing well yourself. I just want to say I do apologise about the stream being a little bit early. Usually we like to do the streams around 6:15 on a weekday. However, got home from work a little bit early today. Thought, you know what, I'll just start the stream a little bit earlier, because it's really positive. I haven't been this looking forward to a stream in a long time. Now, I love coming on and I love sitting down and I love talking to you guys and I love talking to fellow Evertonians and fellow football fans about Everton and about football, regardless of whether we win or loss. It's actually quite nice to come on and talk when we lose, because we're all in it together and we're all discussing why what's happening and what's going on and how it can change. But there's nothing better than when you win to come on and recap that game of football and talk about that game, because I'm sure, as a lot of you know, when we're doing the game reviews and we've been beaten, we've been embarrassed in certain games, and you're sitting down and you're talking about it, the more you talk about it, the more you think, fucking hell, it was an absolutely dreadful game, wasn't it? Whereas this, we could talk about it all day and, it'd just get better, because the performances, the goals, and the overall intensity of the game was fantastic by Everton, and it needs to carry on now. We need to see this week in, week out. There's no excuse now as to not see the same performance next week against Brighton. Before we go on to talk about the game, I'm just going to tweet today's team out so everybody knows we are live. You're in the live comments, get your thoughts in. Of course, massive thank you to everybody for the support on the instant match reaction on Saturday as well. Really appreciate everybody that checked that one out, obviously, and left a comment or left their thoughts in the comments section. I haven't changed the thumbnail for the stream. I've just realised I've kept the same thumbnail, whereas I should have changed it to the review. So I'll have to do that post-match anyway. It's nothing too serious. If you're enjoying as well, please do hit the like button. It means a massive amount to me. Like we said, we're going to talk about some of the disallowed goals a little bit later on in the stream, because there is negatives about the game. I think the referee was absolutely shocking, but I don't want to go too far into talking about that, because I think it's a little bit irrelevant. When we've had a game, like we've had a win like we have, and such a convincing performance, I think it's important that we focus mainly on the positive. So like I said, overall it was a fantastic all-round performance. It really was, from every single Everton player, and I think this is down to the way Marco Silva set his team up. Obviously, we spoke massively in the game preview about how half 11 on Saturday was going to be so vitally important to, whether Everton fans approach this game positively or whether Everton fans approach this game with a little bit of, negativity going into it. And that was the starting 11, that was the formation, and that was the team that Marco Silva went to play. Now, granted, Marco Silva set out with the same formation as he has done in previous weeks, or what looked to be the same formation as he has done in previous weeks. And, again, I think at a lot of times that would have been enough for Evertonians to say, you don't know what you're doing, what are you playing at? However, the team selection, I think, got a lot of Evertonians excited and a lot of Evertonians raring to go for the game, as it did me as well. So obviously Marco Silva brought in Djibril Sidibé at right back, which he needed to do because Seamus Coleman was suspended. We knew that was going to happen. We knew that was a change that was guaranteed. Going into the midfield, he played a midfield three that I think we've all been screaming for quite a while now. We said if Marco Silva's going to persist on playing this three in midfield, two defensive midfielders and a number 10, then there's certain players that have to be involved. Tom Davies and Andre Gomes in the centre of midfield, can't complain with that. It was the midfield pairing that I wanted, and it was the midfield pairing that I think we massively needed, and that was proved on Saturday. Alex Iwobi in the 10 is somebody that everybody's been shouting about for a while now. Gylfi Sigurdsson, who we'll talk about a little bit later on, hasn't been performing well at all this season. He hasn't done an awful lot to note for, and then he goes and bangs one in from 25 yards in a contender for goal of the season. But anyway, before Saturday, he hadn't really done an awful lot, so he needed to come out regardless of whether there was the formation remained the same, regardless of whether the formation changed. Gylfi Sigurdsson needed to come out that team, so obviously that was another change. And then you had Bernard on the left because Iwobi fitted into the number 10 role. You had Richarlison up front, and you had Theo Walcott on the right. Now, I was actually quite happy with this starting 11. Now, a lot of people looked at the starting 11, a lot of people seen Theo Walcott in it, and a lot of people jumped to saying, why is Theo Walcott in it? What's he doing there? He hasn't done anything to prove he should be in there. But for me, if you're looking at an Everton starting 11 and Theo Walcott's in it, as long as Richarlison's also in the same starting 11, I don't really have an issue with that, because I'd rather Theo Walcott be on the right than try and force a Moise Kean out on the right, or try and force a Dominic Calvert-Lewin on the right when they're clearly not players that play on that side of the football pitch. If Richarlison's out the team and Theo's in, then you've got an argument as to why that's happening. But with Richarlison going directly up front, and I thought he had an absolutely fantastic game on Saturday. Yes, he didn't score, but he was constantly involved. He was dragging defender out, and he was doing what we need from a striker in order to let Theo get as much space as he did, in order to let Bernard get as much space as he did. Alex Iwobi as well in the rest of the midfield. You need a striker like Richarlison to pull defences apart, and that's exactly what he done on Saturday. I was happy to see Theo Walcott on the right, because I was quite happy to see Richarlison in the number 9 role as well. So I think Marco Silva, just firstly, before we go into talking about the game in itself, got the team quite right. It was really positive, and it was a bollocksy team by Marco Silva. It was a team that made Evertonians go, you know what, fair enough. You've pulled Gylfi Sigurdsson out because he hasn't been playing well. You've totally changed the midfield about. Now, granted, you could say that Delph was carrying a little bit of a knock and Schneidlin was out with an injury and he was sort of forced to do that. But, that's if buts and maybes, isn't it, really? Marco Silva now can't change this team going forward, and it's the title of this team for me. Marco Silva must keep the same starting 11, and that includes Alex Iwobi in the number 10, regardless of Gylfi Sigurdsson's fantastic goal. And again, like I said, we'll talk about that later on. But he got the personnel massively right for me on Saturday. He had a midfield three that were pacey, that were intense, that were positive, forward-thinking footballers. Tom Davies and Andre Gomes played so well together. Tom Davies and both of them, Gomes and Davies, were contenders for man of the match for me, because they were absolutely fantastic. They controlled that midfield well, and they pushed the ball forward. Andre Gomes has got that ability, he's got that experience to take the ball down, hold it up, and know when to pass it and when to keep it. He's absolutely fantastic under pressure as well, and Tom Davies has got that youth to constantly have his head up, and when he's playing with confidence, Tom Davies is an absolutely fantastic footballer. I don't give a shit when anybody says. When he's playing with confidence, he lifts his head up and he runs forward, and the kid has got absolutely no fear whatsoever. He doesn't worry about what's going to happen, he doesn't worry about losing the ball, he just gets his head up and he strides forward, and we've seen that massively on Saturday. He was putting himself about. He wasn't afraid to go in for challenges. Yeah, he made a couple of stupid challenges. That you go, bloody hell, mate, you're never going to get away with that. But the majority of the tackles that he put in were really good tackles. They helped break the play down, and they helped us to move forward as a unit, and that was one of the massive reasons as to why we played so well on Saturday. Alex Iwobi in the number 10 was absolutely fantastic at creating space. Now, don't get me wrong, he made a couple of mistakes on the ball, and obviously he should have slotted towards the end, and we know that, and he could have done a lot better when he had the ball, but his off-the-ball play was something that we've needed from a number 10 in weeks and months, because it's something that Gylfi Sigurdsson hasn't been giving us, and we've seen two different type of number 10s play on Saturday. We've seen Gylfi Sigurdsson come on and provide what you could say is perfect number 10's goal, turning it in on the edge of the box and scoring an absolute worldie. But you're seeing Alex Iwobi, who didn't really do an awful lot when he was on the ball. Obviously, he made a couple of really, really good passes, don't get me wrong. Didn't put a ball in the back of the net, but the space he created was something that we've massively been crying out for weeks and weeks now, because Gylfi Sigurdsson simply doesn't do that enough. I really, really like Gylfi Sigurdsson. He scored a fantastic goal on Saturday afternoon. He was brilliant when he come on, but he doesn't create the space enough. And whether that's because he's not meant to be playing in that number 10, he's not naturally playing in the number 10, whether he hasn't got the awareness, I don't know, but he just doesn't create that space enough for me. Whereas Alex Iwobi was in there and he was creating space for Gomez, he was creating space for Davis, he was creating space for Bernard, for Richarlison, for Theo Walcott, who all played individually fantastically because of that space Iwobi was creating. And you could have watched Iwobi every time he was on the ball and go, well, he hasn't had that great of a game. But then when you watch it back and when you actually realise what he was doing for the players around him, you could see why it's so vital to have a player that's got that movement and got that ability to, interchange in that number 10 role. Because if you've got a player like Gylfi Sigurdsson, who might have all the talent in the world on the ball, who might be absolutely fantastic at striking it from 20 yards, if he's not moving about enough in the game, then your whole midfield just doesn't work. It's like, it's a system really, isn't it? And all parts of the system have to work together for it to succeed. And if you've got one part of the system that isn't quite working, then the whole thing just fucks up. And that's just science really, isn't it? And that's exactly what we've been seeing over the last couple of weeks, whereas on Saturday it massively worked. So like I said, we played with pace, we played with power, we played with intensity, we played with a want to win the game of football. It was positive, and that's something that we haven't seen from an Everton side in so long, was positive, forward thinking, getting on the ball and thinking, I'm only going that way and this ball is only going in the back of that net. We had a plethora of shots. I don't even know how many shots we had, but everybody was having shots left, right and centre. And I remember turning around to my dad at one point in the game when I think it was Theo Walcott had the shot or Richarlison had the shot, and it went wide by some distance, and I thought, you know what, I've got absolutely no problem, keep doing that all day, keep shooting from 20 yards, keep getting into positions and shooting. I've got no problem with players having a shot and having a go on goal, because at the end of the day, if you don't shoot, you don't score, and you're not going to score every time you shoot. And there was still opportunities where players were holding up the ball a little bit too long, and we maybe could have got another couple of shots on goal. But at the end of the day, we had 4 disallowed goals, we had 1 off the bar, we had 1 off the line by the goalkeeper, and we had a 1-on-1 saved. So it literally could have been 6 or 7 on any other given day. It really could have. We won 2-0 and that massively flattered West Ham, but the performance itself was absolutely fantastic. And for me, playing with pace, power and intensity was symbolic of that midfield 3. That midfield, 3 of Iwobi, Gomez and Davis were massively vital in doing that, because Davis and Gomez picked the ball up in the midfield, they drove forward, they didn't look back. Their first thought wasn't what's to the side of me or what's behind me, it was what's in front of me. Alex Iwobi was creating that space to either pick the ball up and play it off, or he was moving out the way so the ball could be played to Bernard or Theo Walcott or Richarlison. And again, that's what I think we've been missing in that number 10 role, is I don't think Gylfi Sigurdsson moves away enough. I think he thinks, right, I can pick the ball up here, but if he's marked by 2 people, he doesn't move away from the situation to allow space to other players, he just stands there. And I'm not digging at Gylfi Sigurdsson, because we're going to talk about how fantastic he is in a little bit later on, but that's what Alex Iwobi gave us. Christian says, Brighton for you. Hazard says, alright Cam, you okay? I'm not too bad, mate. Hope you're doing well yourself. Christian says, hey ho. Aiden says, expecting Gylfi to be starting next week because of the goal. I wouldn't start him next week. I wouldn't. I think Alex Iwobi had a fantastic game, and I think it'd be massively unfair to drop Alex Iwobi. Yes, Gylfi Sigurdsson come on and scored an absolute wonder goal. Fair enough. But for what Alex Iwobi done in the rest of the game, I think it would be quite silly to drop him. I think Marco Silva should stay with the exact same 11 as that started on Saturday. Hazard says, yeah, probably, but should be the same team. Christian says, Walcott, Gomez, Davis, Sidibé, thumbs up. Yeah, we'll talk about the individuals in a second. Aiden says, agreed, brother Hazard. Hazard says, lol. Christian says, Sigurdsson, fantastic goal. It certainly was. No taking it away from that. Glenn says, I don't get Walcott. He has so much to offer. I thought Walcott played fantastically, to be honest with you, on Saturday, and that might be against the genuine consensus or the genuine thought or the genuine want by Evertonians, but I thought Theo Walcott was absolutely fantastic. Again, he was creating space, he was creating opportunity for himself. He was very unlucky to not put the ball in the back of the net with that absolutely unbelievable wonder strike. Again, could have had 2 goal of the season contenders within a half there, but I thought Theo Walcott played fantastically, and again, you could see that the lad's growing in confidence. And don't get me wrong, I don't really know where the future lies with Richarlison in the 10 and Walcott on the right, and obviously that massively affects Dominic Calvert-Lewin's it massively affects Dominic Calvert-Lewin going forward, and it massively affects Moise Keane as well. But I think those two played really, really well individually and as a partnership on Saturday afternoon. Hazard says, I think the whole team played well, to be honest. Yeah, I agree. Glyn says, what about Keane as a number 10? Yeah, I agree with Hazard. Glyn says, what about Keane as number 10? I agree with Hazard. I don't know. I haven't really seen enough of him in that 10 role in his whole career, and I don't know whether he could do it. Hazard says, I haven't really seen enough of him yet. I agree. Glyn says he can run and take on people low through the middle. Maybe that's something Marco Silva's thinking about for the future. Kirsten says, Mina, goal, VAR. Yeah, it's absolutely shocking, and Mina was fantastic. The whole defence was fantastic on Saturday. Aiden says, it's going to be messy when Mina finally begs one of the gladdest. It will be. Hazard says, yes, can't wait till he scores first goal. Hopefully floodgates will open, lol. Christian says, Musa Dembele. Hazard says, VAR bollocks, yes. Aiden says, we have big targets for set pieces and great set piece takers, but we never score from them. Exactly, another issue that needs to be addressed at USM Finch Farm. Eric says, don't understand the criticism to Iwobi. I thought he was really good. He just needs to improve his finishing and get his goals and sits up. Yeah, exactly. I thought Iwobi was a man of the match contender. If he'd have scored that goal at 1-on-1, he would have undoubtedly been a man of the match contender and probably would have won man of the match. Obviously, the miss of the 1-on-1 and the fact that, some journalists and some fans just look purely on what he does when he's on the ball and not really his work off the ball. That doesn't help him massively, but off the ball, he was unbelievable on Saturday, he really was. Aiden says, Iwobi contributed far more than Gylfi does. If Gylfi doesn't score, he offers nothing. Fair enough. Eric says, what do you think about playing with the same starting 11 next week without Walker and playing Moise Keane in the right? We have even more pace. I wouldn't change the starting 11 at all. I don't see why Marco Silva would want to change the starting 11 that not only has won, the big saying in football, you don't change a winning team, but has played that well as well. I wouldn't even bring Keane in for Walker because I think that would be unfair on Theo, because I thought Theo had a really, really good game on Saturday, and I think if you set your stall out next week against Brighton and you play that same starting 11 and you say to them, don't worry about the fact that we're away, don't worry about the fact that we're playing Brighton, just go out and do exactly what you've done last Saturday. Go out, play with intent, play with pace, play with urgency, and play with the thought to win. Pepper the goal with shots, constantly create opportunities, and constantly pressure the defence and the goalkeeper. I just don't see why we wouldn't do anything other than that. But I do understand your point. Kadir says, hi mate, hi Kadir, hope you're doing well. Colin says, well in mate, thank you Colin. Chris says, scrap VAR, it's a shambles. Definitely was a shambles in our game. I understand that, a lot of other fans of a lot of other football clubs aren't happy with VAR this season, but in our game it was an absolute shambles, because the fact that Yerry Mina's goal doesn't even go to VAR just proves that what's the fucking point? Realistically, what is the point in it? Ian says, Walcott was like a new signing. He was. Hazard says, yes, played well. Ian says, should have been 6, but 2-0 against 12 men will do. Manchester City TV UK vid says, seeing last of the summer wine, it's a comedy BBC TV show. Random, but I have. Hazard says, agree, Ian. And Manchester City TV UK vid says, what do you think of the match of the day every week? I don't watch match of the day, to be honest with you, purely because most of the time Everton don't play well. But again, I don't really like the pundits. I fucking can't stand Danny Murphy. Listening to him makes me want to punch the wall. I'm not the biggest fan of Lineker, and I don't mind being right. Obviously, I don't mind when Aussie's on there, but I don't tend to watch match of the day. Plus, I think they pick and choose what they show, and they very clearly, from what I've heard, I haven't watched it this week, very clearly haven't shown a lot of chances or a lot of things in that game, that should have counted, aka Yerry Mina's goal. But anyway, positivity, we need to be talking about this game positively. We can pick at the fact that VAR's a shambles. We can pick at the fact that the referee was shocking. But the referees are shocking every week, whether we win 10-0, whether we lose 4-0. The referees are guaranteed to be shit every single week, because they are. They're absolutely wank. If you're enjoying the stream so far, by the way, please do hit the like button. It means a massive, massive amount to me. The support today is unbelievable, as per usual. If you haven't already as well, if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. Again, it means an absolute massive amount. And if you feel like, then please do share this stream out to everybody on your social to get as many people involved as possible today. So anyway, going into obviously the individual changes, Marco Silva made a lot of changes into this game. Now we know that Sidibé had to come in because obviously Seamus Coleman was injured, and we know that the midfield was possibly changed because of injuries to Fabian Delph and Morgan Schneiderlin. But I think every single player that came into the starting 11 on Saturday was absolutely fantastic, including Bernard on the left, who obviously scored that goal, which I don't know whether it was just me, but as soon as he turned back into his left foot after he cut in, I thought, what the fucking hell are you doing? And then he just magically happened to skin 3 or 4 players and put it in from the tightest angle, which is just absolute proof of why he's an unbelievably talented footballer. You know, Walcott on the right, like we've just spoken about, I thought was fantastic. Alex Iwobi in the 10, really, really good. Tom Davies, I thought was definitely a man of the match contender, and there's no reason now as to why Tom Davies shouldn't be in this team week in, week out. He's been given an opportunity, he's taken it, and he's done nothing wrong as to come out. So I don't care if Schneiderlin's fit, I don't care if Delph's fit, I don't even care if Gabaman comes back fit. Tom Davies plays in this team going forward now. You know, I think he was absolutely fantastic. I really, really do think he was. And then obviously Djibril Sidibé at the back. Now I want to talk about Djibril Sidibé for a second, because I think it's important that we do talk about Djibril Sidibé. He was the only change that you could say was, you know, had to be made. Of course, like I said, there's the midfield changes. You know, there could be an argument as to why Marco Silva needed to make them through injury. But Djibril Sidibé was the one change that we all knew was happening, and we all knew needed to happen because of Seamus Coleman's suspension. I want to bring this up because on any other given day, would Djibril Sidibé have started this game? Probably not. Marco Silva would have probably favoured putting in Seamus Coleman in there with him being the club captain and it being such a massive game, you know, for Marco Silva and for the club. But I actually thought Djibril Sidibé was absolutely unbelievable on Saturday. I really, really do. I thought he was fantastic. And for me, Djibril Sidibé stays in there now going forward because he offered more on Saturday than what Seamus Coleman's offered all season. I love Seamus Coleman. He's an Everton legend, and I'm sorry if that upsets anyone, but it's pure fact. He offered more on Saturday than Seamus Coleman's done for the majority of this season. His attack and play was fantastic, and one thing I noticed from Djibril Sidibé on Saturday was his fitness is absolutely second to none. Not only was he breaking forward, not only was he pushing forward, not only was he able to provide support for Theo Walcott and to get those direct balls. What I love about Djibril Sidibé, he's not a usual fullback that you'd see. He'd bomb down the wing and just put unbelievable crosses into the box, you know, time after time after time. Long balls into the box, crosses into the box. Djibril Sidibé is a fullback that bombs it down the wing and then looks for a direct ball to slice the midfield or slice the opposition's defence in half. He doesn't always look for that cross over the top into the box. Sometimes he gets to near enough 20 to 30 yards out and he looks for a cutting edge ball to the number 10 or to the striker or to one of the wingers who's cut in, and that's what I really, really do like about Djibril Sidibé. And like I said, I thought he was fantastic on Saturday. I really, really do. Sorry, the cover that he provided for Theo Walcott going forward was fantastic. The cover that he provided in his right back position, which is first and foremost where he needed to play, was unbelievable as well. I thought defensively, don't think he put a foot wrong all game. Their best opportunity come from a situation that he should have been given a free kick against because he was chopped in half. A, the ball didn't hit him at all and went out for a West Ham corner. B, should have been a foul in any other given day. But I thought he was fantastic. I really, really did think he was brilliant on Saturday. And for me, there's no reason as to why he should be dropped. He hasn't done anything to be dropped. And I thought he had a really, really positive game. And he's a right back that we could massively, massively do with in this team. Because we all know we've got Luca Dean on the left, who, you know, he's one of the, if not the best left back in the Premier League. Now, we need a right back that sort of mimics that, because it's not good having one side quite considerably stronger than another, and Seamus Coleman for me just hasn't been putting in the performances this season. We all said in the summer, we all said before the season had even started, Seamus needs a massive, massive season this season, because you've now got a World Cup winner on the bench who's providing competition and who's providing that knock on the door that Marco Silva will be looking for. We all said at the start of the season that Seamus needs to massively, massivly turn it up, and he hasn't this season. He hasn't so far. I'm sorry to say it. Love Seamus Coleman. He's a fantastic fella. He's a brilliant footballer. He's Everton captain. But he just hasn't been doing it for me. Really, really hasn't been doing it. And Djibril Sidibé's come in for one game and he's put in a real, real good performance. And for me, there's no reason as to why he should come out next week against Brighton. Anyway, let's get back into the live comments. Like I said, if you're enjoying the video, please do leave a like. It means a massive amount to me. Eric says, I don't think we'll be able to play as good against Brighton as we did against West Ham because we're away and Brighton will have a crowd on their side and we're terrible away. Exactly, and that's, you know, a conversation obviously for the game preview on Thursday, for the press conference reaction on Friday. And we're also going to talk about that on Wednesday's live team as well, away form, and why we now need to replicate this performance away from home as well, because we come into this season with one big issue, and that was our away form, and that we hadn't really, nailed down consistent away performances and consistent away victories. Obviously, other issues came into play throughout this season when we couldn't win any, away or at home. But now that obviously we've got a decent performance under our belt at home, we now need to go and take that into away games as well. Jack Williams says, Sky Sports highlights over match of the day. Yeah, I watched the Sky Sports highlights of the game today. Again, they still didn't show an awful lot, but I literally just watch the highlights just to remind myself of the situations in the game to then come and further talk about them. I'm not really interested in what any pundit has to say about Everton, to be honest with you. I think they're all idiots. Well, the majority of them are idiots, let's say. Ian says, I haven't watched Match of the Day for over 10 years, always last on or next to last. Exactly. Man City TV UK vid says, last of the summer wine. Feel free not to answer the question because it's random, but you've seen all of the series. Who is your favourite character? I haven't seen all of the series, I just know of the series and I've seen a couple of episodes, so I don't have a favourite character. He also says, do you do shout-outs at the end? If so, do one for me. I don't do individual shout-outs, I just read names out and do the comments throughout the scene, of course. Ian says, Eric, yeah, we have to turn all the way from 180 degrees. We do, fan, we do. Eric says, thank you, Seamus Coleman. We have found on you right back. Sidibé was amazing. And we've only got him for a season, so who knows? Who knows if he continues putting in performances like that? Marcel Brands might have to strike a deal with Monaco to bring him in on a full-time basis. But the rumour was before Saturday that, Everton weren't very happy with him, and then there was a rumour that he could return to Monaco and then go back on loan to another team elsewhere. But for me, I really don't see where that's coming from, because I thought he was fantastic on Saturday, and I actually think he's played well in every game he's played for us this season. Where are we? Crypt says, I was furious at the whistle of Mina's goal. Mina was the unluckiest player this season. He should have 5 goals with his chances. I was also furious. I thought Yerry Mina was, again... I mean, you could literally sit here and you could pick any one of them to be contender to man of the match. I'm sitting here saying, oh, well, Walcott was a contender, Davis was a contender, Gomez was a contender, Yerry Mina was a contender. Yerry Mina was fucking fantastic on Saturday. He was so solid. He never let anything get past him. He was clearly gassing at the end, because as soon as Gylfi Sigurdsson put that second goal in, he fell to his knees. But he never let anything get past him. He never let anything trouble him. He dealt with everything professionally. He dealt with everything well. And I thought he was absolutely fantastic. Manchester City TV UK vid says, Angry Birds, why your sponsor are you a bunch of kid gamers? No, but they probably pay us stupid amounts of money a year, so if it benefits the team and it brings more money and more revenue in, then whatever. Reece says, hey Cam, for the game against Brighton, do you have the same score predictions? Oh, sorry, do you have any score predictions if the starting 11 stays the same? I don't tend to do score predictions, but I'll be very, very positive about the game, and I'll be very, very optimistic going into the game if the starting 11 is the same. Hazard says, agree, Cam Sidibé onwards and upwards. Yeah, Kadir says, Brighton match must be an absolute winner, Blue. Yep, definitely. Man City TV says, Everton eat too many sweets. Chris says, you will beat Brighton. I hope so, Chris. Aiden says, think it's a stay of execution for Silva. Sadly, took far too long to make the changes we could all see, and same problem still there. Hope he turns it around. No, we need stability. Listen, I think, just to touch on Marco Silva a minute, because, obviously... It'd be ridiculous for us to talk about the game and not touch on Marco Silva. Marco Silva's come under a lot of stick in recent weeks, and rightly so as well. The performances haven't been good enough. The team selections haven't been good enough. The formations haven't been good enough. The tactics haven't been good enough. The substitutions haven't been good enough. Need I continue? However, like we said at the start of the team, I think it's massively important that when he does something well, we praise it and we take note of it. It's important that, we can sit back and we can say, well, okay, we played fantastically well on Saturday. The performance was really, really good, but... it doesn't mean that everything's sorted. We need more of that. We need to see that consistently, week in, week out. We need to see that consistent level of bollocks to keep Gylfi Sigurdsson out of the team, to keep, Dominic Calvert-Lewin out of the team if he's not playing well, to keep Schneiderlin out of the team, to keep Coleman out of the team, regardless of the fact that he's the captain. We need to see that same cutthroatness every single week from Marco Silva. And that's fair enough. I think we can all sit back and say that, but it doesn't mean that we can't, we can't give him credit for Saturday afternoon, because he made that decision with the team. He made the decision to take Sigurdsson out. He made the decision to play Davis and Gomez as the midfield too, and it paid off. It really, really did pay off. So now I think the next big step for Marco Silva, I think he saved his job for another week, and I think the biggest step now for Marco Silva is to go out and prove that you can do that again next week, and prove that you can put the same starting 11 out, and prove that you can play the same tactics and you can play in the same way regardless of whether it's away from home, because realistically we're playing Brighton and Hove Albion, and with all respect for Brighton and Hove Albion, we should be beating them whether it's at home or away from home. We're not playing Manchester City away from home. We're not playing Liverpool away from home, where you could say, well, I've changed the tactics to from what we played last week because of the opposition that we're playing. We're playing a side that we should be going and we should be beating anyway, so go out and do it again next week, and then maybe you'll earn a little bit more time, you'll earn a little bit more respect with Evertonians, but that's the next step for Marco Silva for me. Chris says, I'm worried coming to Everton as we don't turn up at Old Trafford and don't turn up at you lot either. I feared we would drop points at United, and I think we'll do the same at Everton too, because we don't turn up. I do hope so, Chris, I do hope so. Jack says, Everton have a 14 million option to buy Sidibé. Think, yeah, we do. We have an option to buy at the end of the loan if we want to. The thing I'm more worried about is that there was a lot of rumours going back last week that the club weren't happy with his performances so far. So hopefully, he continues to get a game, runs in the team, and he continues to perform. Hazard says should pay 40 million for him. Yeah, 40 million is nothing in this day and age anyways. Cliff says I thought Sidibé was picking out passes that Coleman never does when he's on right back. I just think Sidibé is fitter, to be honest, and got more stamina than Coleman, and a little bit. I just think he's got age on his side a little bit more, to be honest with you. And that's not Seamus' fault. Seamus has had 2 massive injuries in his career that have massively, he's massively paid for. But I just think Sidibé, like you said, was a little bit more advanced. Ian says 14 mil bargain, same team at Brighton 2-0 and means to score. I hope so. Hazard says think I've predicted 2-0 on Saturday. There you go, got it spot on. Aiden says if we put Snarl and Sigurdsson or Coleman back in for Brighton, can we fax him a P45 at half time? And Ian says meerkat thumbs up. If you're enjoying this team, by the way, please do leave a like. It means a massive amount to me. And if you're new to the channel as well, subscribe. Why not? It only takes a second, of course. If you enjoyed the content, we've just hit 1,000 subscribers, so massive thanks for that. If you're enjoying the team as well today, while we're right into talking about the game, while we're getting into the thick of it, delving into deep analysing the little bits and bobs of the game, share the stream, get it shared to all your socials, to all your friends, to all your family, get as many people in as possible. And a massive thanks once again to everybody that's getting involved. Really does mean a massive amount to me, and I really do appreciate all the support. Sam Flynn said well done on 1k subs. Cam Sidibé's class on Saturday, thank you very much, and top vlog as well on Saturday. If you haven't seen Sam's vlog, go over there and check that one out. Really good vlog. Thanks very much, Sam. And DBLXP says how much of our performance thus far is due to shaky midfield in your opinion, Gomez, Kabam and health? The midfield is a massive part of whether we either perform or we don't perform. I've said consistently for weeks, and not just me, everybody said consistently for weeks, Fabian Delph, Gylfi Sigurdsson, Morgan Schneiderlin does not work. There's not enough urgency, there's not enough pace, there's not enough intent, there's not enough movement, and there's not enough positive thinking. We've all sat and said for weeks, why not say Davis and Gomez and maybe a Iwobi, or even Davis and Gomez and Sigurdsson, or Davis and Gomez and take the number 10 role out. We'd say a midfield that's got youth, got pace, got power, got positive thinking, got ability, and look how well we play. It's no surprise that when the midfield plays well, the rest of the team plays well, because the midfield is vital in any football side, whether you're playing Sunday League, whether you're playing Premier League football, any football side. So it's massively vital, like you said, and we seen that on Saturday. Hazard says 100% Aiden. BLXP says, feel we made a huge step this weekend with Gomez and Davis, yeah, and they should be the midfield too going forward. You can interchange Sigurdsson and Iwobi as to what you want. You could even take the number 10 role out like we've been saying, but for me, Gomez and Davis have to be the 2 central midfielders going forward. And Sam says, thanks Sam, no worries. I want to talk about the players as well. I'm playing for Marco Silva specifically because it's something that we spoke about. We've spoke about before, and it's something that I've seen quite prominently on Twitter over the last couple of weeks. And I think it's only expected, to be honest, when a football team isn't playing well, when you're on a run of bad results and you're on a run of bad form. We had 4 straight defeats in the Premier League. It's only normal that certain fans and certain journalists start to plant the seed that, well, are the players still playing for Marco Silva? Do they still respect Marco Silva? Do they still want to play for him? Do they still appreciate him as a manager? And I think it's massively important that we talk about that, and it's massively important that we look at the performance on Saturday and think, for me, that clearly shows that the players are still playing for Marco Silva. It clearly shows that the players still want to play for him, and they still have a faith in his tactics, and they still have a faith in his managerial commitments to the club. And you could see that on Saturday. You could see that all the players were playing for him. You could see that all the players were playing for the shirt. And what I actually noticed more than anything in the lads on Saturday was they were playing with enjoyment. They wanted to play. They really did want to play for the club. They were enjoying it. They were having a good time. They were going out. They weren't afraid to shoot. They weren't afraid to break forward. And that's what I really took note of massively on Saturday afternoon. And I think it's massively important that when we're in a bad run of form and when we're having bad results and when we're putting in bad performances and fans are saying, well, are the players still playing for Marco Silva? Do they still want to play for Marco Silva? We also look at the performances when we're playing well and we go, well, you know what? This sort of shows that they still do want to play for Marco Silva and that he hasn't completely lost the dressing room, because losing the dressing room is something that's floated about massively, in football, in terms when teams aren't playing well and when, performances aren't good and results aren't good, is, a massive term constantly is, as Marco Silva lost the dressing room, or, do the players still want to play for the manager? So I think it's massively important that we look at games like this and we say, well, you know what? For me, all 11 players that, played in an Everton shirt on Saturday, 13 players if you include the substitutions, they all want to play for Marco Silva, and they all clearly showed that they wanted to play for Marco Silva as well, and that's why they put in their performances like they did, and that's why we seen them smiling, and that's why we seen them getting together towards the end of the game. So I think it's massively important that we pick that up as well. I'm not going to talk about any soaps or dramas because we're here to talk about the football, and that's about it. As it says, your matchday vlog was good, Sam. Make sure your dad goes every week, lol. Jack says, Man City Fan TV, UK vids, give it a rest, mate. It's Cam's team, not your Q&A. Yeah, I'm not doing a Q&A today, so I'm not going to answer other questions. You know, I appreciate it, and if you want me to do a Q&A, that's fair enough, and maybe we'll look at doing that at some point in the future. Man City Fan TV says, Jack, I agree, but want my opinion. In terms of dramas, again, I don't really watch a lot of TV, to be honest with you. Just briefly, I don't really watch a lot of TV, and I don't really watch, I don't really have a lot of time to watch a lot of TV. Ian says, here, Jack well said. Man City Fan TV says, can you tell Ian, Jack and Ham stop ganging up on me? There's no ganging up. There's no need to gang up on anybody. I don't think it's ganging up. I think it's just, basically saying get involved with the chat about the game, and not about other topics, because obviously we're here to talk about the match, we're here to talk about the football and not other things. Like I said, if you want me to do a Q&A, if you want me to do videos where we talk about other things and where we talk about other topics openly, then I'll definitely look at doing that, but that isn't the video. So I understand where they're coming from, but I don't think they're ganging up on you. I don't think that's fair to say. If you're enjoying the scene, by the way, please do hit the like button. It means a massive amount to me, and if you're new, like I said, please do subscribe. So anyway, like we said, it could have easily been 3, 4, 5 on Saturday. It really could have, because we played that well. And it's not even a case of saying, oh, we played that well, it could have been 3, 4 or 5. We scored 4 goals that were disallowed. One of them shouldn't have been disallowed. We hit the bar. We had one cleared off the line, and we had one-on-one save. Well, one-on-one opportunity that was saved, and in any other given day it'd have gone in quite convincingly. So it's not like we're saying it could have been 3, 4 or 5 because we played well. It could have been 3, 4 or 5 because we created opportunities that were that close to putting the ball in the back of the net. Like we said, Walcott, unbelievable. Richarlison up top as well, I thought was fantastic. I really did think he was fantastic. Iwobi's movements, which is spoken about so far in the team, I think massively helped the team in terms of bringing in Tom Davies, bringing in Andre Gomes, bringing in Bernard, bringing in Richarlison, bringing in Walcott into the game. And I think that's absolutely vital. And I think it's also vital in Marco Silva picking the team next week, because it's going to be difficult. I don't know how to word this. It's easy for us to sit back as Evertonians now and look at that Gylfi Sigurdsson goal and go, you know what, that was a fantastic finish and that was a wonderful goal. But now is Marco Silva going to feel the need to bring Gylfi Sigurdsson in because he made that impact and he scored that goal? For me, Gylfi Sigurdsson shouldn't come in next Saturday. He shouldn't, because I think Alex Iwobi gave us something that Gylfi Sigurdsson has struggled to give us all season, and that is that movement, that is that ability to move out the way and allow Bernard, allow Richarlison, allow Walcott, allow Davis, allow Gomez into the game. And sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you have to take yourself out of the situation to allow other players to get into the situation. And if you're not picking the ball, if you're not getting the ball, then if you move, you're dragging at least one, maybe even 2 opposition players out the way for your teammates to go forward that way. And I think that's what Alex Iwobi done fantastically well on Saturday, and I just don't think Gylfi Sigurdsson does enough. Granted, nobody is saying that Gylfi Sigurdsson, isn't a good footballer or isn't a vital part of our team, because he is. We've seen on Saturday what he can do. He's absolutely unbelievable when he's got the ball at his feet and when he's turning players inside out like that. Very similar goal to the one he scored against Leicester last season, where he put James Maddison on his arse. He puts Jack Wilshere on his arse, and he scores, arguably one of the greatest goals you'll see all season. Really was. And I think it's massively important that we take note of that. But I also think it's massively important that we look at it as a whole, and we look at the bigger picture here, and we look at Gylfi Sigurdsson's performances this season and how the team have performed with Gylfi Sigurdsson in that 10, and how the team performed for the 80 minutes that Alex Iwobi was in that 10 on Saturday. And I think it was considerably better with Alex Iwobi in the 10 than it was Gylfi Sigurdsson. And if that means Gylfi has to stay on the bench for the foreseeable future, and he comes on in the 85th minute or the 80th minute and he scores one of the goals, then that helps everyone, doesn't it? That benefits everyone. But I don't think Gylfi should now be put back into the starting 11 on the basis that he come on and scored a wonder goal, because I think his overall play hasn't been good enough this season. No one's rejecting the fact, no one is questioning the fact that he can score goals like he did, or that he's got the ability to win a game like that. For me, it's more of the fact of his overall play in that 10 position, which is something that we've seen Alex Iwobi come into and play so well. I think it'd be massively unfair to take him out now. I also just want to touch on VAR before we end this team as well. Listen, it's a shambles. It really is a shambles. And I do feel sorry for Yerry Mina. Somebody said it earlier on in the live comments. I massively feel sorry on Yerry Mina because that goal on Saturday, there was nothing wrong with. There was absolutely nothing wrong with whatsoever because, listen, again, I've said from the start, it's not necessarily VAR, it's not necessarily the video assistant referee, it's the referees in this league, it's the assistant referees, it's the officials. They just don't know how to do the job. They're just shit at the job, and that's fact. That is fact. And, you know, if you've got 6 or 7 people that are watching a telly and an Everton can't make a decision, and you've got one on the pitch that doesn't understand football and can't make a decision, then they're going to make mistakes at the end of the day, and that's exactly what happened on Saturday. I haven't seen the rest of the disallowed goals in terms of ours. I know there was a couple of offsides. It probably were offside. I understand Richarlison's was. But the Yerry Mina one's an absolute disgrace. It really is. And not only the Yerry Mina goal, but the challenge on Djibril Sidibé at the other end, which actually forced a fantastic save from Jordan Pickford. Jordan Pickford didn't have a lot to do on Saturday, but the one thing he did have to do, he done really well. And he made a save at a time where we massively needed that save because it was 1-0 at that time. Momentum had arguably switched for a second, and if West Ham had to put one in the back of the net, I think momentum had massively switched, and we could have seen a different outcome to that game, totally underserved by West Ham. But, you know, Jordan Pickford pulled out a world-class save once again. For all the mistakes that Jordan Pickford makes, and for all the, the people that get on his back for making mistakes, there's times like that where arguably he saved us in that game, despite how well we played, despite the fact it could have been 4, 5 or 6. The momentum switch that would have happened if they'd have put the ball in the back of the net, especially off the back of it shouldn't have even been allowed anyway because there wasn't a corner in the first place and it definitely was a foul. I think he massively saved us in that situation. But like I said, not only the Yerry Mina disallowed goal, that decision to not only not give a foul here but to give a corner, it's just amateur. It's really amateur. I played Sunday League yesterday and, just off topic, I'm feeling it now, I'm absolutely knackered, but I played Sunday League yesterday and the refereeing standard there was quite similar to the refereeing standard in the Premier League, and that's worrying considering the referees in the Sunday League are just lads that turn up and want to referee and want to help Sunday League teams out, whereas the referees that referee Premier League footballers are on massive contracts and getting paid thousands and thousands of pounds to referee these games, and they just can't do it. They're not good enough whatsoever. But we all know that it's nothing new anyway, and I don't want it to affect the performance. I don't want it to affect how we talk about the game, because overall we were absolutely fantastic, and we shouldn't let the referee ruin it, because we were brilliant on Saturday, and that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. That is it. We were absolutely fantastic. We more than deserved to win the game. We should have won by more than two massively flat as West Ham, but it doesn't matter, because we won the game, and whether we won 2-0, 6-0, 8-0, 1-0, you get 3 points from winning, and that's all that matters. And that win was massively key to Marco Silva, and massively key to Everton going forward, and we needed it. Don't get me wrong, the issues aren't all fixed, and it's not all plain sailing, and it's not all fantastic and happy days, and it's all sorted. We've still got a lot to work on, but it's a start. It really is a start, and I think Marco Silva now needs to look at this and go, right, this is a start. Now, the same start 11 plays next week against Brighton, the same tactics and the same objectives next week. Go out there, attack, play to win, create opportunities, pepper the goalkeeper with shots, consistently pressure the defence, and go out there and do exactly like we did against West Ham on Saturday. And if we can't win and we don't win, then that is what it is. But if we go out there and we try and play defensive, and we try and change the team around, and we try and change the tactics, then I think it's absolutely stupid, and I don't understand why Marco Silva would do that. DBLXP says, can you speak a moment on Bernard's impact? Unbelievable footballer, absolutely unbelievable footballer. On the ball, second to none. His movement, fantastic. His touch, unbelievable. His skill, his pace. He is just an absolutely fantastic footballer, and he had a massive impact on Saturday. He did have a massive impact because, he tends to turn up against West Ham anyway. He absolutely tore them to bits last season away from home. But I think his ability to have the composure that he did in that moment, bring the ball back, realistically, we all knew what he was doing. He was trying to get it on his left foot. He was trying to get it in a better situation for himself. He couldn't, so then he turned back into the position that he was in originally, and he slotted from there. An absolutely fantastic footballer, and you could see the impact that his ability, his pace, and his footballing brain has on the rest of the team. Where are we? Manchester City TV UK event says I'll get involved. Then yeah, obviously you get involved. That's what we're here for. We're here, all fans of all clubs, to get involved, of course. DB says feel like we've been at our best when he is in the side. That performance on Saturday was our best performance all season for me, without a doubt. So yeah, I agree. Man City TV UK event says do a Q&A about anything. Okay, I'll definitely look at doing it in the future. Where are we? He also says sorry about the ganging up on me. Yeah, it's alright, mate. Simon says good result for Everton. Now all we need is to leave you. Ian says Bernard should never have lost his place after scoring in the first game. Yeah, it was a strange one. That I understand why I will be coming, but now that we've understood that both of them can play in the same team, Bernard shouldn't lose his place. Man City TV UK says who is Everton's worst and best player of all time? I don't know, mate. It'd be hard to argue against Dixie Dean being the best of all time, but you know that's definitely a conversation with another team. He also says, why has Liverpool started winning at your stadium? They should beat Sash. I don't know. Where are we? What team do I play for? I just play for the Sunday League team. And in what league? English football. It is England, yeah, it's in Liverpool. He also says, like the vid guys, come on, he took his time doing this, brilliant. Thank you very much, really do appreciate that. Yeah, if you could like the video, that'd mean a massive amount to me. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe as well. Sam Flynn says, VAR definitely got the right decision yesterday in the Man U Liverpool game. Again, it's a massive conversation, it really is, and I think it's more the fact that the decision that VAR doesn't even look at as to what the decision that it does look at and gets wrong, because it's got multiple decisions wrong this season. It got a decision wrong in the Burnley-Leicester game as well, and now it didn't even look at Yerry Mina's situation on Saturday is a joke. Mr. Taylor says Silva will be out the door. Will still be out the door. Fair enough. Wayne says, Sam, mate, we'll catch up with your videos later. Hopefully we'll be back this game up. Feel like next 6 weeks could be massive in Everton's future, as in the manager cut run beating Liverpool in the Premier position. Spot on, you're right. Jonathan says, hello, Jonathan, are we doing well? Wayne says, have a good week. Come on, you Blues, Everton till I die. Neil Satterson is the optimum. Yeah, thank you very much, Wayne. Really do appreciate that. Eugene says, good goal for Gylfi Sigurdsson against West Ham on BT Sport. It was. Man City says, see you off to get McDonald's. Enjoy. Toffee Talk says Sigurdsson and Coleman should struggle to get back in the team. No, they shouldn't get back in the team. Sigurdsson shouldn't get back in this team on Saturday, and neither should Seamus Coleman. They should have to play their way into the team, and like I said in the instant match reaction, see what happens when you give Gylfi Sigurdsson something to play for, and he has to play back into the team. Jack DG says, Boss YouTube up the Blues. Thank you very much, Jack. Really do appreciate that one. A Man City fan TV says, read two of my other comments about the racism one about I missed it, mate. Sorry, I missed it. I do apologise. If it's about the Leicester chairman, yeah, obviously rest in peace to him. Jonathan said Richarlison was good Saturday. I agree, he done what he needs to do. He took the defence apart, and you know he performed really well. I agree. Anyway, that's gonna do it for today's team. If you have enjoyed, please do leave a like. Massive win on Saturday for the Blues. Fantastic performance by every single player in an Everton shirt, and let's hope that we can carry this on now going forward. There's still a lot to do for Marco Silva. He's still got a lot to do, I think, to convince the majority of Evertonians that he is the right man for the job, and I think a large part of that starts on Saturday because of the away form, and a large part of that starts on Saturday in proving that you can go out there and you can pick the same team that convincingly won against West Ham and use the same tactics and put in a similar performance. But anyway, let's just enjoy this one for the start, because we haven't won in 4, 5, 6 weeks, something like that. So let's just enjoy the win whilst we can. A fantastic performance by the Blues, a fantastic result, really positive, loads of positives to take from it. Don't forget to join us, of course, on Wednesday for another live stream. We'll be live at about 6:15, so don't forget to join us for that one. I really do appreciate all of the support. Big thanks to everybody in the live comments as per usual. Once again, unbelievable support. If you have enjoyed the stream as well, please do leave a like, get it shared to all your family and friends as well, and anybody that will want to be involved. Please do subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. It really does mean a massive amount to me. Jack DG says, do you reckon we should start Keane? Yeah, at some point he needs to be starting, but I don't think we should change the starting 11 next week. Jack Williams says, enjoy your evening, mate. Thank you very much. Man City TV, you may can think what he likes. That's his opinion, and that's fair enough. Eugene says, see you, Everton will beat Brighton this Saturday afternoon. I hope so. I really do hope so. Anyway, massive thanks to everybody for getting involved. Like I said, don't forget to join us on Wednesday. We're going to be talking more about Everton and how Marco Silva can now build on this performance going forward. And then, of course, leading in to the game preview on Thursday night. Then, of course, we'll have the press conference reaction on Friday, and then all of the content on Saturday leading in to what is another massive gargantuan game for Everton Football Club against Brighton away on Saturday. So anyway, massive thanks to everybody for watching. It really does mean a massive amount to me. Man City Fan TV says off soon, don't go. I've got to go, mate. Unfortunately, I've got to. I do apologise about that. Big thanks for everybody for watching. Please do hit the like button if you have enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. It means a massive amount to me. Big thanks to everybody once again. Cole saying my dad would be proud of Saturday's performance. He would, mate. He would, because we put in a real tough, good performance on Saturday, and we have to keep that up now. We really do. Anyway, big thanks for watching. Please do leave a like on the stream if you have enjoyed. Don't forget to go and follow us on Twitter at MightyBluesYT. It really does mean a massive amount to me. Please do leave a like if you have enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.